welcome back. I am putting out a video about my 5-star predictions for 2023, and I have 10 of them that I want to share. And yeah, I thought this would be a fun kind of video to do, and so I want to branch out a little bit more. And so I guess we'll just get started right off the bat. So my first 3 5-star predictions come from the same author, and no surprise if you had seen any of the previous videos that my favorite, excuse the dog if you hear the dog, he is having, there's like a squirrel or something, or someone's in the alleyway, so I'm sorry if you hear my dog. But where was I? Oh yes, my favorite author is Tessa Afshar. I love every single book she came out with. So the first one is Bread of Angels, and this one is a retelling of Lydia in the Bible. Lydia is a purple dye maker. She's known for her purple dye and the clothing that she does, or whatever she sells. And so she is mentioned in the New Testament during the early church. And so Tessa just wrote a book, fiction book about it. That's all that I know about it. I think she does meet Paul, maybe, because during this time Paul is Paul or Peter, and it might be both. But they're traveling around spreading the gospel, unless this is before Paul's conversion. But anyway, I can't wait to see what she does with this. Again, every single book was 5 stars. Maybe 1 or 2 was like 4.5, but they're definitely like my all-time favorite books from Tessa. So that's one. Okay, the second book from Tessa Afshar is D of Corinth, and this one is, I don't think it's particularly about anyone. No, it's not about anyone particular in the Bible, but it is about a young woman in the city of Corinth, and she's a thief. So again, I believe it's like the early church, and she's gonna possibly come to know Christ through this as the church is spreading. And so again, another good book that I think that is going to talk about like salvation and just like meeting other characters who are spreading the gospel. And so I'm excited about that one. And then the last book, I will just pop a picture right here, and I put it on my Christmas wish list, but it is called The Hidden Prince by Tessa Afshar. And this one is centered around the book Daniel. I believe it's the book of Daniel, because the lady in the story is in Daniel's, underneath Daniel's authority. I don't know how, but she's hiding this prince, and we don't know who the prince is. And I think she entrusts help with like another guy to hide him. I'm not 100% sure, but this book is new. It came out in November, so hopefully I get it. And that one, I'm so stoked. It's so beautiful, that cover. So anyway, those are the 3 5-star predictions, and all of her books have romance in them too. So if you like romance and you like retellings and like biblical fiction that doesn't stray far from the word, it has a creative flair to it, but she uses scripture to make sure that her stories aren't like that outlandish. I would highly recommend her. I love her. So there's that. and I'm gonna look down. I wrote down the list. So, the next one is a Nicole Deese's book. I bought it just this last year, or this last month, and it's All That It Takes. And I know that Oshina really, really liked this one. I read All That It Matters by Nicole Deese, and that's the first book in this duology. And so I got this one. This one follows the brother to the main character in that first book, and it talks about his love story. And he is a pastor, and I just can't wait to see. I kind of have a suspicion of who it is, but I would rather just go into this blind. But this one I know would be a sweet romance. It is a bit chunky too. So the other one I listened to on audio, but that's okay. And yeah, so hopefully this will live up to that hype. The next book that I have on my list is Indivisible by Travis Thrasher. And Indivisible, it is about a military husband, and he has 3 kids with his wife, and it talks about marriage and struggling, I guess, during the time that he's in the military, and she's left with the 3 kids on base. And so it talks about like struggling, I believe, with faith even, but also like struggling in the marriage. And so really trusting God to rekindle their marriage back, and then placing him as the center of it. So they made it into a movie. So I am wanting to see the movie after reading this, but I am excited. I like military type books. I like marriage books. I like to see couples who are struggling, but how they come back from struggling, and with God as the center of them going through their trials, and really trusting in God. And so to me, that's like something that I really do like to read about and like pour into myself, because being married, you do have those struggles, and you do have to rely on God for help during that time. And God can do amazing things. Like he has so much love for his children, that he just wants us to look to him. And when we look to him, he always provides that peace and will show us the way. So I'm excited. Again, hopefully though, when I do get a chance to read this, it'll be around like Memorial Day, 4th of July, or Veterans Day, just to kind of get into the feel of things. But or maybe my anniversary, I don't know, we'll see. But hopefully 5 stars. This is my first Travis Thrasher book, so we'll see how I enjoy it. Okay, so these other books I don't have physical copies of. I plan on getting them from the library, or through audiobook, or just purchasing them throughout the year. But the next book that I want to talk about is also really hyped here on BookTube, and that is In Search of a Prince by Toni Shiloh. And that is a beautiful cover too. I love that dress. So I've heard so much about this, and I am excited to read from this author as well. I checked out a lot of her other books to see if I was interested to put that on my Goodreads and Storygraph. And there are a couple of them that I know she had a sequel to this one and a Christmas one. So I'm hoping to put those on my list if I really do enjoy this one. But this one is about a woman who is, I believe it's in Africa. It's set in Africa. So either she I think she goes to Africa. Actually, I have no clue. what the story is 100% about. I just know it's a beautiful cover, it is hyped, and it is faith-based, and that's enough for me. So, sometimes it could just be what you hear from your favorite YouTubers, and then you're just like, oh, that sounds fun, that sounds good. So yeah. The next book that I believe would be a 5-star prediction would be a classic book by Louise May Alcott, and that is Little Women. And I haven't read this book. I haven't seen the movie either, so I'm planning on seeing the movie after I read the book. But my sisters have seen the movie, and they really enjoyed it. The youngest of us is like a teenager, so if the teenager likes it, then wow, it must be really good. But I wanted to read this classic, and I know it's about 4 sisters, and I am one of 4 girls, and so I feel like this could be a really a sweet read. I know that it is hard-hitting, at least that's the feelings I'm getting from it. I think in the synopsis it says one sister is battling a sickness, but I'm not 100% sure. So that might be a little hard to read, but it's about 4 sisters and just how these sisters interact with each other and their different personalities. And yeah, I'm excited to read it, and it's a classic. I would like to read some more classics, at least some of those that I know that I would be interested in. But yeah, so that one's that. The next one is The Healer's Apprentice, and this is by Melanie Dickerson. And I believe Katie from Paperback and Ponytails has mentioned this book, or mentioned this author, and from what I understand, this is a retelling of a princess, and I'm not sure if it's Rapunzel. I'm not sure which princess, but I know it's a retelling, and so I know it's part of a series as well of a long list of, I guess, princesses, and so princess retelling comes recommended. I'm here for it. So I expect that to be a 5-star series, hopefully. So that's one. And since we're on the subject of a series, I would say C.S. Lewis, his whole Chronicles of Narnia series. So the next book that I have here is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And hopefully I will get to all of his books this next year, but this is the next one on my list to do. And so the first one was a 5-star for me, or at least it was close to one. I'm gonna take a quick check of that. Okay, so the first one was around a 4.5 stars for me, but I believe like this one is the most loved book. So if the first one was like a 4.5, then I believe like The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe will be a 5-star. Just how my brain computes, right? But I hope that it lives up to that. I did enjoy the narrator from The Magician's Nephew, and so that's why I'm gonna read the audio, or listen to the audio for The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, because it was just a fun listen, and I know my husband enjoyed it too. So that one would be on the list. And the last book that I want to talk about also comes recommended by Katie, and this is called Boo by Renee Gutteridge. Boo is about a writer who comes to his hometown, and he's a famous writer. He was known to write, I believe it was Halloween books, or just like a certain type of book, and he stopped writing it, that genre, or that books like he used to, and I guess the town is very like upset about it, but he found Christ and he wants to, I guess, win souls. That one I'm not entirely sure, but it did came highly recommended, and I've seen people like loving the book. So, and it's cute as well. It's like a cute little it kind of gives me Halloween vibes, but I don't think it's a Halloween book. But I'm excited, and I can't wait for these books. Hopefully my TBR game will go well enough for me to put these books on early on in the year. But we'll see. And I'm excited, and I hope you enjoy. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you for coming in. Talk to you later in the next one. Bye, guys.